キセラさんたちも招待されてたんですね。
分け隔てなく幅広い人々に来てもらいたいっていう王女殿下のご意向よ。レオお兄ちゃん、一緒にプール行きませんか？
遠慮しておきます。人間の肉体は浮くようにできていません。水着もありません。
あ、泳げないんだ。
そういう話ではありません。
Alright, my friends. So we're on episode number 7 of Demon Sword Master, okay? And, you know, my honest opinion at this point is I feel genuinely like this episode was just a huge time waster for us. We spent all of episode 7 just to get to the point of princess abduction, just to simply find out that the princess is Regina's little sister. And obviously, based on like the way that she was acting this whole episode, it could be very well assumed that Regina had some ties to the princess, the royal family, or something, right? The other piece is she was able to get into like the royal archives or the school's archives or whatever it was very easily. And she's like, oh, it's just a parlor trick. And it's like, okay, well, we know that you either have an ability or you have some general ties to kind of like supersede whatever, right? So outside of that, though, let me take you throughout the other things of this episode. So Regina and Leo go into the archives. He makes some BS reason of he wants to investigate languages and stuff. Really, he just wants to find out more about the world and why did a bunch of stuff genuinely, like generically, generically, I don't even know the word. Why did things disappear? He just wants to kind of find out more about that stuff. He equally then gets put in a path where he wants to find more about, like, you know, why did spirits disappear? We find out later on in the episode that the princess actually has a spirit. Probably one of very few that's actually left. Then through there, they're taken on this next piece, which is like, you know, attending the princess's banquet. We get a nice little ecchi scene where we see, some booba, and we get to see Leo try to figure out how to swim. And then the very next thing that occurs right after that is the beast folk that are attacking the ship. Now, between then, we did get introduced to beast folk and elves and dark elves, that they still exist in the world. We have to assume that these were probably closer to Demon Lord minions, probably back in the day, but they seemingly still do exist. And who knows on what path they're going to end up going once Leo kind of like shows himself and stuff. But that's really all that happened this episode. I really feel like this whole entire episode was just spent taking us through and building up to the next thing that's going to happen, which is, Regina and the princess and Leo saving the princess, probably getting her admiration or whatever. We know that she's younger than Regina, so she's probably closer to Leo's age. She's probably 13, 14, 15, something like that, because that's Regina's little sister. So that's a positive for for Leo as well too, is the fact that he's gonna get somebody else closer to his age that might be interested in him, and a princess, So other than that though, my friends, like that is all that happened this episode. I really feel like I just watched an episode of like a whole lot of nothing, and I feel like everything else was just filler fluff just to get us to this next thing that's going to happen. And I don't necessarily mind episodes like this too. I tell you guys all the time, like, I don't mind these types of contextual episodes that are just to get us to the next thing, these transitional episodes. But there's two things that you have to keep in mind when you have these episodes that exist. One, you have to keep in mind that we're waiting a week, 7 days to watch an episode, and 7 days from that episode to get to the next episode, right? So if we're binging the episode, so we're binging all 12 episodes at once, transitional episodes, contextual episodes are totally okay. But when you have to wait a whole entire week after you just waited a week to watch the transitional episode, it kind of sucks, okay? The next thing is there's only 12 episodes. So that's the other big thing, is like there's only 12 episodes that we're going to get. We might not get a season 2. We might not get a core 2. So that's the other thing when it comes to these animes that are kind of one-off and kind of like lower budget, is like we may only ever get these 12 episodes. So when we have transitional or contextual episodes, kind of sucks ass too. The very last thing, I guess, is my third point. Really, it was the first and second, but my third point would be that when you have transitional contextual episodes, if they're part of a larger episode group, if there's 24 or 36 episodes, these begin to be a little more acceptable, right? Like if we have a scenario where it's like a fairy tale or a One Piece or an Attack on Titan or a My Hero, when it's part of a 24 or 36 episode run, then it's more acceptable. And when you have those big runs, it's also acceptable to not wait a week. You just kind of like, I'm gonna wait weeks and then watch it eventually, which comes back to my first point of binging. All right, anyways, I spent enough time just rammering on. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments down below. Just kind of want to hear you guys' thoughts for those who are still sticking around and watching this anime week after week. Let me know what you guys think. And of course, my friends, I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace out.